Hello guys, in this lecture I am going to start a new chapter of physics class 12 NCERT textbook, which is moving charges and magnetism. This is our lecture 1. In this chapter we are going to study about magnetic field, magnetic force on wire and magnetic force on charge. So let's begin with the scientist whose name was Christian Oersted. Christian Oersted was a scientist who discovered the magnetic field around a current carrying wire. This is our wire and current I is flowing through it, and here a charge Q is present. When we place a charge Q near a current carrying wire, this charge does not experience any force. That means there is no field which could exert a force on this charge. But when we provide a little velocity to this charge, then this charge moved and gets deflected towards the direction of this wire in this way. Then he came to know that a field is present here, but this field is not electric field, because if electric field is present here, then when he placed a charge, then charge will would move at the same moment. But this was not happened. But when he put a magnetic compass, then the needle of magnetic compass gets deflected. Then he confirmed that a field is present here which is not the electric field but the magnetic field, because the magnetic needle of compass gets deflected only in the presence of magnetic field. So he came to know that around a current carrying wire there exists a magnetic field. Moving ahead with our next topic, which is Biot-Savart law. Biot-Savart law is nothing but a formula to find the magnetic field. Suppose this is our wire and current I is flowing through it. This is our point P, and the distance between the wire and the point P is r vector, and this angle is theta. For finding the magnetic field dB due to a small element, here we have to assume a small element dl. Then dB equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi into cross product of dl r divided by cube of modulus of r vector. B denotes the magnetic field. So in simplifying we get mu naught I divided by 4 pi into d l r sin theta divided by r cube. R cube can also be written as r square into r. So r from here and here will be cancelled out, and we are left with dV equals to mu naught I into 4 pi divided by 4 pi into d l sin theta divided by r square. This is the formula of finding the magnetic field due to the small element dl. Unit of magnetic field. What is the unit of magnetic field? Unit. Unit of magnetic field is Tesla, denoted by T. And mu naught is permeability of free space, which is equals to 4 pi into 10 raised to the power minus 7 T Tesla m divided by A. Tesla is a vector quantity or scalar quantity. How we came to know that Tesla is a vector quantity? Because in the expression there is present a term dl cross r. Cross product of two quantities will always give a vector quantity. So magnetic field is a vector quantity. What are the characteristics that are possessed by the vector quantity? The first is direction. And the second is magnitude. Now, what is the third property that defines whether a quantity is a vector or a scalar? The third characteristic which can determine whether a quantity is a vector quantity or a scalar quantity is that a vector quantity has direction, magnitude, along with it follows vector addition law. So these are the three properties which would determine that a given quantity is a vector quantity or a scalar quantity. Going ahead, our next topic is magnetic field. Due to a current carrying wire. Magnetic field due to a current carrying wire. For this, we have to draw a diagram. This is our wire I. This is our wire and current I is flowing through it. This is our point P. Here we have to find the magnetic field. And this is our distance D. For this, we have to assume a small element. This is our small element dy, which is at y distance from this point. The upper part of this small element will be joined with the point P. Same procedure will be followed in the lower part of the small element. Then this is our 90 degree because we have to find out magnetic field at a point which is perpendicular to the wire. Then we assume this angle theta, so this will be 90 minus theta. This is 90 degree and this we assume theta, so this angle will be 90 minus theta. This element is too small, so that we can say that this angle and this angle together constitute the linear angle, that is 180 degree. So this angle will be 90 plus theta. Addition of these two angles will give 180 degree. And this is our small angle d theta due to this small element dy. And we know that the distance between the element and the point where we have to find the magnetic field will be r vector. Applying Biot-Savart law, is equal to dV equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi into dy. There we have taken dl because where we assume the element dl, but here we are assuming the small element dy. That's why we have taken here dy into cross r vector divided by r cube. Then dv equals to mu naught I into d by r sin theta. Cross product of two quantities will be given by sin theta, that is d by r sin theta. Opening the cross product will give sin theta and opening of dot product will give cos theta. There is r square into r. We further cancel r here, r cube. Then for this we have to find the dy and r. For this we have to find cos theta. Cos theta will be base divided by hypotenuse, and here the base is d and the hypotenuse r. So r will be d cos theta d, and d divided by cos theta equals to d sec theta. We know that reciprocal of sec theta will be 1 upon cos theta, will be cos theta. Then also we have to substitute dy, so we can write tan theta equals to perpendicular by base, and the perpendicular is dy and the base is d. Then dy equals to d tan theta. Differentiate it, and on differentiating we get dy divided by d theta equals to differentiation of d will be d and differentiation of tan theta will be sec square theta. So we write here sec square theta. And coming on this expression, dv equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi into dy. We can simply substitute dy from here. D sec square theta d theta, and r from here d sec theta, and here the theta will be 90 plus theta, so sin 90 plus theta, and r equals to d sec theta whole cube. dv equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi into d sec square theta d theta. We have taken the value of d theta from here and r from here. So on further simplifying we get dv equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi into d sec square theta d sec theta, d theta, and sin 90 plus theta will be cos theta, and here dq into sec cube theta, and dv equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi into this d and this d will be cancelled, and here d will be left because here d cube is present and in denominator d square is present. Sec square into sec theta because it constitutes sec cube theta, and in denominator sec cube theta is present, so this one will be cancelled out. We are left with cos theta d theta divided by d. Then this is our wire. We have to join upper part of the wire with the point P where we have to find the magnetic field, and the same thing will be followed with the lower part of the wire. This angle will be measured in clockwise direction, and we take it positive clockwise direction, and this angle will be taken in negative direction, in anti-clock direction. So this will be taken with a negative sign. So we integrate it, and on integrating mu naught I divided by 4 pi into cos d theta divided by d. Here b equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi will be taken outside because these are constant. I is constant, this is current, mu naught will be constant, and 4 pi will be also be constant. Then d will also be constant because the distance is fixed where we have to find the magnetic field. Cos d theta divided by cos d theta. This is our theta 1. This is our theta 2. So we can simply write from theta 2 to theta 1. We know that integration of cos theta is sin theta, but here we have to put a negative sign because theta 2 will be measured in the anti-clockwise direction, theta 1 will be measured in clockwise direction, so we write it with a positive sign, but theta 2 will be measured in negative direction, so we put a negative sign here. Then mu naught I divided by 4 pi d, and integration of cos theta will be sin theta, from negative theta 2 to theta 1. On further simplifying, we get dv b equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi d. First we have to put the upper limit and then the lower limit in place of theta, and sin theta 1 minus sin minus theta 2. Mu naught I divided by 4 pi d sin theta. We know that sin minus theta will be equal to minus sin theta. This is the property. of trigonometric function. So we follow this property here. Then minus this minus will come outside like this, and sine theta 2, and b equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi d sine theta 1, negative and negative will become positive, and plus sine theta 2. So this is the formula of finding the magnetic field due to a current carrying wire. This is our formula of finding the magnetic field. Mu naught I, this is the formula, mu naught I divided by 4 pi d into sine theta 1 plus sine theta 2. So our next topic is magnetic field due to a long infinite current carrying wire. I am writing this expression b equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi d sine theta 1 plus sine theta 2 here, so that you all can memorize it throughout the video. Magnetic field due to a long, or we can say infinite, current carrying wire. This is our wire. This is infinite wire, and we have to find the magnetic field. Current is going through it, and we have to find the magnetic field here at point P. So for this we have to find the sine theta 1 plus sine theta 2. This is infinite long wire, so we can assume that this part, that this angle, we can assume this angle to be 90 degree, because this angle will meet with this wire at the infinite, and at the infinite we can assume it 90 degree, because it is a infinite wire. And here we can also assume the same 90 degree, because here also the wire is infinite, and this is our distance d. So we can say that b equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi d sine theta 1 will be 90, because this is an infinite wire. So we can say that P, the angle which P made with this infinite long wire will be 90. We can assume, because this is infinite wire, and here this is also an infinite wire, so we can assume these two angles as 90 degree. So sine 90 degree plus sine 90 degree. Here theta 1 and theta 2 both are equal to 90 degree. Then sine 90, value of sine 90 is 1, so sine 90 and sine 90 degree together constitute 2, divided by 4 pi d into 2. On simplifying we get mu naught I divided by 2 and here 2. Then we arrive b equals to mu naught I divided by 2 pi d. This is our expression or formula to find the magnetic field due to a long infinite current carrying wire. Mu naught I divided by 2 pi d. Now suppose we are asked to Find the magnetic field due to a semi-infinite wire. Semi-infinite wire means that the upper part is infinite and the lower part is finite. Semi-infinite wire. Semi-infinite wire. So we follow the same procedure. We assume this angle to be 90 degree because this is infinite. One end of the wire is infinite and one end is finite. So theta 1 will be 90 degree. This angle will be 90 degree. But theta 2 will be 0 degree because the second part or the lower part of the wire is this point and the angle which the point P made with this wire will be 0 degree. So we can say that theta 1 will be 90 degree and theta 2 will be 0 degree, sin 0 degree. Then D equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi d. Sin 90 is 1 and sin 0 is 0. So we can say that magnetic field due to a semi-infinite current carrying wire will be D equals to mu naught I divided by 4 pi d. This is the formula of finding the magnetic field due to a semi-infinite wire.